and I help business owners and course creators to increase their sales by getting them qualified leads on autopilot. The Digital Marketing Show is a project that has a simple idea but a powerful one. Add value to your business by sharing how our successful guests are achieving their goals, growing their business, and living a different lifestyle. Hello guys, how you doing? Today I've got Sharon, there you go. Where are you? Gonna go. Boom.
Hi, hi Louis.
Uh,
How are you?
Very good, mate. Very good yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing good too. Thank you. Thank you for having me in here. It's
Mate,
an honor. It's a pleasure to be here.
thank you for being here. That's awesome. So you help experts, coaches, course creators, and you help them to essentially get between $5,000 to $20,000 per month while working 4 hours a day. This is huge.
Yes.
That's so cool. So, what's the secret? How does it work? I love it. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay. So basically, I help experts like coaches, course creators, consultants, agency providers, service owners, people who are looking to trade their information, knowledge, and expertise. So the way I look at it, most of the experts are struggling with three things. Number one, they are struggling with their messaging. Number two, they are struggling with having an irresistible offer. And number three, they are struggling with closing sales and generating traffic or high quality leads. So 99% of the time, it's either one or all of the three problems. And that is where I come in, where I help them dial in their messaging, then crafting an irresistible offer.
Yep.
Because as you know, a lot of people shuffle in between multiple, like 297, then 997, then $3,000, then $10,000. So
Yep.
I help them simplify the structure. And if it's a service provider, they have like, I have people in my coaching program who are having services from $97, then 297, 497, 997, and so onwards. So I help them structure everything in a standardized package and then take that funnel and scale it up. So yeah, that's what I do.
Cool. And how long does it take to get them from zero to a point where they actually getting those results?
So it takes 6 to 8 weeks, and that is the average case. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes more. It
Yep.
also depends on like what kind of marketing assets you have, audience that you have built beforehand. So if you have built an audience, it will take less.
Yep.
And if you do not have an audience, it will take maybe more than 8 weeks in some cases.
Wow, that's so cool. And how did you start the course itself?
How did I start the course?
Mm-hmm. Is it how
Oh,
did you start helping them? How did you start
okay.
helping them? Yeah.
Awesome. So it's a funny thing. So when I was starting out, there were no people. Like I started back in 2012, and there were only a handful of YouTubers. There were not a lot of things. Even ClickFunnels was not there. So and when I was starting out, I felt that I spent my first 3 years because there was no coach, there was no mentor, and then the next 4 years, I tried at least 10 to 12 different business models. I had success with some. And finally, I realized that the one that suited my lifestyle was creating information products, selling coaching. And that is when I realized that this is something I enjoyed teaching people as well. So, and by then I had done a lot of low ticket launches. Like I had got almost 20,000 customers for $7, $17 products. So I had been doing it full time. And then I realized that most of the people who are entering this space are not the kind of people I can actually help. Like my heart lies in helping coaches who can sell their information. And that is what I got started in November last year when I finally decided to work with coaches and experts. So yeah, it started in November and it has been, I think, um, what, 4 5 months, 6 months, and by now we have got almost like six figures in client results. So I would say that's a good achievement given the fact that I hardly have taken enough clients because this is also the time when I was focusing on my e-commerce business. So
Wow,
yeah.
you're busy, man. I love it. That's so
Right.
cool. So with the course itself, what do you do in terms of traffic and advertising, all that stuff? Like, and is it the main issue that your clients face?
Okay. So that's a great question, Lewis. And the main issue that most of the people feel is that if you see, marketing is about creating or polarizing your audience. So some people follow some person who says do organic. Some people follow some person who says do paid traffic. Someone says don't do webinars. Someone says do webinars. So when I start working with people, I see all of these things. And the way I work is the structure that we follow is, let's say you have a course, we launch it organically. So you can first get a positive ROI on your investment, and then you can also get some money in your account. And the next thing is that we start, while we are building this audience, we take it to paid ads and webinars. And then we start scaling it up while increasing your organic gain. And while you are doing this, then we start building out the backend and start having high ticket services or high ticket products or hybrid of both. So that is how it works.
That's so
We
cool.
take both organic, paid, and webinars and the entire funnel.
Yeah, that makes sense. So in terms of the high ticket,
Mhm.
courses itself and the low ticket
Right.
courses, like which one you reckon that is trending? Because there's quite a bit of discussion as well about that. Some people say,
Mhm.
well, you should be doing high ticket course, but then you eventually sell less. But if you sell, you're going to make more money. So it's one of those things. So what do you usually recommend?
Okay. So that is one thing that personally, where I was personally stuck for 1.5 years because I had first sold high ticket coaching for the e-commerce business. And one thing I realized was that there is no one specific answer to this because for the same program, we had a low ticket offer later on as well. And it all boils down to the personal call of the coach or the expert. So, for example, imagine, Lewis, that in your coaching program or in your group coaching program, you can serve 100 people or 200 people and you can help them generate 10, $20,000, $30,000. And in your course, you can serve 1,000 people, 2,000 people in the same year. Now, either you can help 100 people make $10,000, or you can help 10,000 people make $1,000. Now, if you are starting out, maybe you would want to help these 1,000 people make their first, or 10,000 people make their first $1,000. And if you are already a well-established expert, or if you have enough experience and you want to go to the high ticket, you can go to that as well. What personally I prefer is that your front end should be not too low ticket, like 97, 297. It should be at least 497 or 997, and then you can have a $5,000 upsell and then a $25,000 upsell. So, or if someone wants to start directly with $5,000 as well, then that's cool too. Because ultimately, it's all about doing what you feel is the right way and
Yeah.
creating an impact. And both the things create the same impact. It's just that we are measuring them with like two different quantities.
Yeah, makes sense. And in terms of you mentioned like the webinar and all that. So
Mhm.
with the webinar itself, do you use it just for the high ticket courses or both?
For both, like in India, we sell courses from $100 through webinar because the Indian audience do not buy a lot of funnel stuff directly. So you have to do webinars. In the rest of the world, we sell even high ticket coaching from webinars. But we do not do that much coaching from webinars because we get a lot of inbound organic clients. So the way we work is we create a huge audience through webinar, like market. And since the last one year and 3 months, I think I have done almost 100 sales webinars. So you can imagine like doing one or two webinars every single week, having 300, 400 registrations. And now people are going, if you are giving enough value, people are going to find you. if you are communicating, if you are demonstrating, and that is how we get inbound clients of high ticket programs as well. We don't do any other marketing for them. We just show people the front end. If they are interested, they buy the front end of whatever the price point is, and then they come and find us for the high ticket. So for
Yeah,
high ticket right now, we are not having any exclusive webinars.
cool. And how is that compared to a webinar that runs 24/7?
That is my personal goal as well for the next month. And a webinar that runs 24/7 is actually good. I mean, both have their own pros and cons. In a live one, you can interact. People can get to know that this is a live webinar. And of course, the tick rate or, the conversion rate is higher. But when it comes to an automated webinar, then people can watch it at any point of time. So more people can view it, more people can purchase it. And personally, I feel is that once you craft a webinar, you split test it enough. And once you have split tested it multiple times, you have got your winning or converting webinar. You put it on evergreen, because now you need to work on the other stuff, and you need to make sure that your rest of the stuff is also converting or build up another funnel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually had a guest that's exactly what he did. He,
Mhm.
he was doing the webinar live, and then when he got to the point where he was like, "This is really working," that became his evergreen and webinar. So it's a great
Right.
way to do it. I love it. And in terms of the strategy itself, what sort of
Mhm.
strategy do you usually recommend for people that have courses? Because there's quite a lot of people using the lead magnet with the email sequence. I myself create a lot of email sequence for the course creators, and then from there they do the sales page itself. Some of them, of course, might do the webinar depending of the course. So what do you usually recommend?
Okay. So what I recommend is that number one, you need to have a tribe. You need to have a place where you are communicating with your audience. You are building an audience. That can be your Facebook profile. That can be your Messenger. That can be your Facebook group. That can be your Instagram. Any platform, you need to choose one. So I personally prefer a Facebook group to build a tribe. The second thing is that once you have built and cultivated and nurtured a good tribe, now comes the part of selling your course. So I have never, like, I'm a very lazy marketeer. So in terms of these things, I have never crafted a sales page until and unless that program has never done at least 50 or 100K. And what I do is I create a long form copy and I have an email sequence, because that is a huge part. Like, people need to get emails from you as well. So I craft an email sequence which is almost similar to the launch sequence. And then I usually post 2 to 3 times for a program. And the way I work is I work in picking up either days as scarcity or spots, like first 30 people or first 50 people. And then I close the program for 4 weeks. 4 weeks later, I just edit that original post a little. I just edit that original email a little with social proof, client results, and everything. And then I do it again. So these are like creating marketing assets. And then you are using the email sequence to, send out these marketing assets and using your Facebook group. And once I have seen enough student results, then I finally go into the sales page.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you like with the sales page, like, so how do you work before you even have the sales page? Is it just through Messenger?
I just create a Facebook post. It can be inside my group. It can be on my profile.
Yeah.
So right now, if you go on my profile, there is a recent post because I was not able to post regularly since the last few days. So there is a recent post that was like, that post alone is has almost made me five figures. It will do it, and it's just one post. So that is the beauty of it. Like, think of it as a long form sales page,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm not putting everything on the page yet because I have not crafted the VSL, or I do not want to craft the VSL right now because I want to do it once I have got more clarity about my audience. I'm not putting in social proof yet because I have already nurtured this audience.
Mhm.
And if they go onto the sales page, they can be distracted again. So what I do is I simply give them the link to buy in the post a couple of times and then in the comments, so people can go and directly pay with their credit card. Because I believe this audience, if they go on a sales page, then they're going to I have split tested this a lot. A lot of them get distracted.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So then, when they go to the page to buy, is it a Stripe, or is it just like a page just with the amount and that's it?
Mostly it's a PayPal me link, and that's it.
Wow, I love it. You're just keeping it simple and it's more profitable. Avoid all the distraction. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. And then with the course itself, where do you usually have your courses hosted?
So earlier, like again, like I said, I'm not a very like I like to keep things simple. So earlier I used to post the courses inside the Facebook group itself in the unit section.
Hmm.
And then I moved on. Right now I'm using WordPress and a plugin called Wishlist.
Hmm.
So whenever someone joins the program, he's automatically going to be able to create an account and start accessing the training. So WordPress and a plugin that works well for me.
Awesome. Nice and easy, isn't it? That's super
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. So in terms of client acquisition, everything for you is still done via organic traffic. Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. And in terms of the 4 hours that you mentioned,
Mhm.
that your students would be working, any reason for 4 hours? I know 4 hours usually
Yeah,
is the most that someone can actually work efficiently.
right.
But is it expected like after the 8 weeks? Do they need to work a little bit harder to start with, and then after that, change? How does it work?
Okay. So in the beginning, when someone spends 4 hours, I would say that it's more than enough. Like you say, it's a good amount of productive time. And the way I see it is that if you are spending 4 hours every single day and you do it for first week, second week, third week, the work that you do in the first week is going to get you results in the fifth week. So I always think about it like this. So if you are doing something now, you are not going to get immediate results. So even after someone has completed the entire program, and let's say that their goal was to make $20,000 while selling their course or while selling their program, and they only made $5,000, I tell them that this is the time when you actually do not take your foot off the gas, because right now is the time that you actually do more of the marketing, because when you do it consistently, you are going to get the results as well. And that is why it's like, the first 8 weeks you make $5,000, the next 2 weeks you make $15,000. Most of the people think this is absurd, this is weird, or this is magic, but it's simply how everything or how the universe works. So that's how I feel it works.
That's super cool. That's awesome. So what
Yeah,
what sort of trends do you think that will be happening? I mean, we're going through some crisis right now. A
right.
lot of people are trying to get into the online world because everybody's at home right now. So
Mhm.
what do you think it's going to be happening? What sort of trends do you see coming?
So I believe that there are principles, and people should focus on principles, because in these times you can follow any trend, but a trend is only going to last for a couple of years at max. On the other hand, if you can learn the principles, and I believe there are only 4 or 5 core principles. Like number one is your messaging, then offer creation, then copywriting, and finally, being able to sell. Now, amidst all of this, the two new things, or you can call them trends as well, because they are going to be up and coming this year, are going to be conversational and relationship marketing, which I call as the CR principle of marketing. So people who are going to have genuine conversations and build trustworthy relationships, build actually the relationships that can help and nurture the other person as well, are going to win. And the way I believe this happens is that if you can show someone, I think Jason Fladley said it best, that if you can show someone what it feels to be your customer, even before they have paid you any money, then they are going to be your lifetime customer. So that's what I believe. If you can start genuine conversations, build relationships that go on a deeper and more intimate level, people are going to be more inclined to buy from you. And personalization is going to be the key here. Like you cannot send the same message to 10 different people and expect a reply. Because whenever I do outreach, I spend at least an hour or 2 hours of my time to either create custom videos for each person if I know that person is in the high probability of being a high ticket client, or I send voice notes. And people are mostly surprised that most of the people do not send custom videos or voice notes. So that is how, even if I'm reaching 100 people, I'm knowing that I'm going to get at least 10 clients out of this.
Amazing. Yeah. Outreach is huge.
Yeah.
And nowadays with the targeting and the, the entire advertising scene, there's quite a lot of people that if they see something that is not directly targeted to them, they will completely ignore that. So it's quite interesting how it is right now. So I completely agree with you. And I actually send videos and even voice
Mhm.
messages as well via Messenger because it's so powerful. And I started that this year, and there was one of the copywriters that I met, Shani, that recommended that to me because that's actually what she did to me. She approached me by doing the video, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I like that because straight away you can see the person's face, how they act. You can because usually if you see someone, you can sort of like read the person, and when you just writing, it's just so plain, so flat, so it's really hard to actually see. So I really like that. So in terms of paid traffic and advertising for you and your courses and your students, you just been using Facebook, or are you using other platforms as well?
So we have been using Facebook and Instagram as of now. And in April, we are planning to expand it to YouTube as well. And Facebook and Instagram themselves are huge. Like people think that, Facebook and Instagram, if you run ads, it's the same thing. But right now, I have been running Facebook ads since almost, it will be 3 years in April or May, I think. And I can tell you, Louis, that it's a totally different game. Like if you run story ads, they are totally different from your regular feed ads. If you run carousel ads, if you run video ads, they are totally different from the other ads. The principles remain the same. But right now, for example, we use a lot of story ads, and we use a lot of, like, this is one of the things that we have been recently doing. And, this is working pretty well for us. So we simply, most of the people are now going for videos. So now what we have done is we have created some graphics that are automatically going to catch your eye. So for example, we purposely take off half of the face and people think that we cropped it. Or, we do some stuff on the graphics that catch attention because now I know that most of the people are going to be conditioned to watch videos. So let's use text copy as of now. And again, a long form text copy. So that works pretty well for us. And story ads work really well for us. 15-second to 30-second story, which starts with a strong headline, then a couple of benefits and call to action. That works really well for us as well.
And then from there, you send them to a funnel.
Yeah. So when someone registers, so my entire mindset is that number one, your ad should not look like your ad, and it should look like an organic post. Secondly, people should be in a better place once they have viewed your ad or once they have consumed the content. So my goal is that provide so much value to a person just in the ad that the person feels that this alone was at least $20-$30. And it's not just the external tangible value, it's from what the shifts can happen on the inside. So that is what I focus on. Like if you have read the book Expert Secrets, Russell Brunson talks about three things like vehicle and then internal and external. So number one, people read the ad. Number two, people go on a landing page. Now here sometimes it's a free webinar. Sometimes people have to pay $4, $5 or $7 because I do not want free people. So we keep on split testing that as well. And once people go onto the landing page, again, it's not a simple one-fold landing page. It's a long-form sales page where people first see the landing page, then they come down, they see the results or the feedback that we have received for that particular training. Then they see the feedback given by other people, then client results, our results, and then once they have registered on this landing page, then they go on to the thank you page where they can expect a welcome video from us. And video works really well here, like a simple 2 to 3 minute video, appreciating them taking out time. And again, this is where we add value, where we tell them that, you know, we respect your time and we are going to make sure that we deliver amazing content to you on the training. And then we give them the steps of the thank you page as well. Like step one, go and check out this video that I've created. Step two, join my Facebook group. Step three, check out past client results. Step four, add this to your calendar. And once a person has seen the thank you page, he's also going to see the webinar reminder ad, because we are going to retarget them. And then we are going to send them 3 emails with 3 videos. And these 3 videos, again, one video focuses on the external, the how. The second video focuses on the why. And the third video focuses on the problem. Because we want them to come to the webinar understanding that they have a problem. Because I don't remember who it was, maybe Dan Kennedy or Jay Abraham, and they said that you cannot sell to a person until they don't understand that you have a or they have a problem. And that is why when someone comes on the webinar, they have already been primed. And even after the webinar, we send most of the people start directly sending out a couple of emails saying that buy my program, the replay is out. The first thing that we do is that we send an email saying that we want your feedback. And before webinar, one of the emails that we send, and it's a very, very high converting email, is that we are listening, where we share some of our own struggles and we tell people that if there is anything that you want to talk to us about, let us know. We are listening, we are here for you. Because again, personalization and relationships. So once this email has been sent of the feedback, we tell people that you can expect the replay tomorrow. And then they get the replay, and then finally after the replay, they start getting more more emails to buy the program ultimately. So yeah, that's how it works, the entire funnel. And our goal is that with each email, and we tell people freely that if you like this email, feel free to swipe it up, feel free to model it up. We won't mind it, because we want to make sure that even if you don't buy from us, we add enough value. And if there is anything
Wow.
else we can do for you, do let us know.
Mate, this is amazing. Honestly, this is huge, and I really like the way that you did, like the why, the how, the problem, feedback, and I think it's the feedback itself is very important because it just makes it personal, as you mentioned. It's like,
Right.
oh, okay, they're not trying to sell anything. They actually want to know what I think. Oh, okay. The most important person in the world, is themselves. So, they actually want to tell you what they think and all that stuff. So I really love this. It's fantastic, yeah. And I guess like
Yeah,
that the conversion rates are pretty high as well.
right. Just to expand a little more on that. So, for example, if we get 100 webinar registrations, around 20 people reply back with the "We are listening" email where they share their struggles and everything. Now, we know that if 20 people have replied, they are very likely to come on the webinar. So, what I do is I either take my phone, I create a note, and I write like this person is struggling with this. And during the webinar, I address them and their struggles in a very respectful and caring way. So, for example, if I'm covering a section which is about how a business owner should start thinking, the mindset, I would address that, hey, Jason, I read your email, by the way, and I saw that, you wanted more help on this. So please pay close attention here. So again, imagine you are coming on a training and you are
Yeah.
being specifically called out.
So powerful.
And when I'm going into the pitch part, I say again, Jason, pay attention, because I remember now that you have you want to upgrade your mindset. This is going to help you upgrade your mindset. Even if you do nothing and watch this closely, it is going to help you a lot because you're going to learn something. So, and doing this, like the standard rate that people get, like the conversion rate on the webinar is, I think 1 or 2% or 3%. We get it to 10 or 12%. and we are doing nothing but a lot of personalization, a lot of retargeting.
I love it. This is really cool.
Yeah,
Wow, I just learned so much. I actually took notes, mate. That's absolutely amazing. I love your work. I love what you're doing, helping people
thank you.
and just being open to share, the good stuff that you're doing, and even letting people to just, like, all right, cool. You just take it, use it as a, swipe file, and as long as we're providing you some kind of value, that's our intention. So I think that's definitely the way to go. I really like how you work, and I really appreciate having you here. So, just wrapping up, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? I'll just put you a link here as well.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the link of the group that I'm having. And the only thing I can share is, and I think I wrote it in the questionnaire as well, is that one thing I have realized in the last year is, or the last 2 years, is that, there was a time when I was doing a lot of different things. I was doing copywriting for e-commerce emails because we also have an e-commerce brand. I was also running e-commerce Facebook ads. Then I was also working on e-commerce funnels, and then I was working on information funnels, then product launches, and then a lot of different things. And I personally felt that I had burned out in all of these things. So what I decided was that I'm going to spend 30 days on one thing and see if this is something I actually love doing or not. So that would be my advice to each and every person starting out. And this is from the book, The One Thing, that be like a postage stamp. Stick to one thing until you reach there, because most of the people, they give it up too soon. And if a person like me who was in the space for like 4 5 years can go into that shiny object syndrome, or trying out everything, I believe it's pretty natural and anyone can have it irrespective of whatever stature or whatever level they are. So even if you are starting out, understand that every person goes through the same struggles. And at the end of the day, it's about how focused and how consistent you are, because one is always better than zero. Even if you had one small win, it's better than having nothing. And one small win becomes 365 small wins in a year. So yeah.
That's great advice, man. I love it. It's so important, honestly, because yeah, I've been through that as well, and it's a terrible place to be because you're doing a lot of things and you end up doing nothing because you can't really focus and concentrate in getting at least one thing right. So yeah, I definitely vouch for that. I agree with you, and it's great advice. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making the time. I wish you the best of luck. I'm definitely looking forward to see, what the future is gonna be holding for you as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Louis, for having me here. And thank you so much for sharing this opportunity with me where I could come and I could be on this show. It has been a lovely experience. And yeah, even I'm excited to see what we can do in the future and how, we can serve the people around us, because this is a time when we need to step up as leaders and we need to help more and more people.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.